let's ask why. Because this is rank evil. I mean, this is evil like we haven't seen coming from Democrats since they were the party of slavery. This is some of the most politically motivated evil that we have ever seen. Why would Senate Democrats ignore the clear lack of laws that Ben Sasse cites, requiring states to provide medical cares to babies born alive during failed abortions? Why would they ignore his comments after reading the entirety of the bill and pointing out that there's nothing in here that restricts a woman's legal right to get an abortion? There's nothing in the flipping bill about restricting abortion. It's about requiring medical care for babies who survive abortions. And they still label that as an anti-abortion Trojan horse that will somehow strip women of their reproductive health care. I think the answer as to why is found in our good friend, Robert P. George, and his brilliant approach to natural law and to the value of incremental legislation like this that plants moral premises in the law that will eventually lead to the protection of all life. Now, Robert P. George, he's actually written on abortion. He wrote a book on abortion. He's a professor at the Princeton University. And here's what he had to say about why what Ben Sasse is doing is valuable. Now, he's not responding to the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, but it gets to the debate regarding incremental pro-life legislation like this. He says that, quote, planting premises in the law whose logic demands in the end full respect for all members of the human family can be a valuable thing to do, even where those premises seem modest. Yeah, it seems pretty modest to pass an anti-infanticide bill. It's a pretty modest proposition. Why are the Democrats so afraid of the modest proposition that we shouldn't kill infants after they're born? Because I think that Senate Democrats are smart enough to realize that if they condemn infanticide right after the baby is born, it becomes morally untenable to suggest that the mother should still have the right to get an abortion seconds, minutes, hours, or a day before the baby is born. Because anyone with a semi-functioning moral compass or prefrontal cortex would have to agree and admit that if it's wrong to kill the baby seconds after it leaves the birth canal, it's certainly wrong to do so seconds before it comes out of the birth canal. And that's why such a low percentage of people support third trimester abortions, particularly abortions where the mother's dilating about to give birth. So you see, even though it's not a bill restricting abortion, it's planting moral premises in the law that in the end will demand the full respect of all human life, of all members of the human family. I think Robert P. George gets that exactly right. And I think these infanticidal apologists disguised as Democratic senators understand that. And that's why they're so afraid of it. So they're willing to literally enable vicious abortionists to murder infants in order to maintain their political philosophy and their abortion ideology. The Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act might plant logical premises in the law that would eventually demand we respect the unborn child. In turn, abortion would be decreased and limited. And above all else, that is the most unacceptable premise to the abortion industry and their cronies and serviles in the Democratic Party. Nothing can limit or restrict a woman's right to get an abortion at any point of the pregnancy, period. Anything that threatens that, even if it's a law speaking to the treatment of life after birth, will be rejected by the Democratic Party for that reason.